Doug Pederson, I'm telling you, this is the last straw. What's good, Eagles fans? This is your boy, Tone DeShields II, and y'all are tuned into y'all dose of Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to trust it to the game. So you guys, the Philadelphia Eagles, as we all know, have been going through a lot of coaching turnover for the past couple weeks. And now, as we all expected, as we all wanted, Doug Pederson is now on the hot seat. And it's odd because he originally thought that his job was secure. Throughout the season, mainly towards the end of the season, he was asked questions about whether he would be here in the future. And he was very firm that he believes he'll be here next year and so on and so forth beyond that. But the tale of the tape says something else. It turns out that his presence here next season depends solely on his vision for this team in the future. Jeffrey Laurie, based on the reports, has made it very clear that Doug will only be here if his vision makes sense. Doug's presence here hinges solely on a second meeting with Jeffrey Laurie to determine his vision. We're at that point now where we can't play around. We cannot afford to continue to make these shoddy decisions. We cannot continue to put a Band-Aid in one location while we're leaking out of the other. We can't plug one leak and meanwhile we're still sinking. It makes zero sense. And I'm actually glad that Jeffrey Laurie is taking control of this franchise. That just tells me that Howie Roseman isn't beyond reproach, in my opinion. Honestly, Howie Roseman might be the one that's next, that's coming to the chopping block. And again, this doesn't guarantee Doug Pederson won't be here next year, but it also doesn't guarantee that he will be here next year. Let's not forget, there have been so many people that this team has gotten rid of so far when it comes to coaching staff. We've gotten rid of Jim Schwartz, but that was more so a retiring move on his part. He got ahead of it, which I respect. I appreciate his services for the first 5 years that he was here. We also got rid of Martin Morningweg, Rich Scrangello. On top of that, we got rid of Ken Flojo, the linebackers coach. So Jeffrey Laurie has shown he's not afraid to move the pieces around. And I'm telling you, Doug Pederson, my friend, you better have a plan in place moving forward with this team. Because let's be totally honest, it's easier to get rid of a coach rather than to get rid of a franchise quarterback that you have so much money tied into. Because trust and believe, if that vision that you have isn't lining up or makes remote sense or shows that you can get us out of this hole that we're in, I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Laurie will move on from you, Doug Pederson. I'm pretty sure that Jeffrey Laurie will roll the dice with the talent in Carson Wentz. And again, there are so many isolated incidences going on amongst his team, so many isolated problems, so many isolated scenarios that need to be addressed. But the coaching staff is one of the lead scenarios, and it begins at the top. And Jeffrey Laurie so far is showing that he's not afraid to put the iron down, not afraid to put the fist down. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I can't continue to go through another season with this franchise just blatantly showing disregard for building, seeking talent, and just letting this coaching staff do whatever they want. I'm so glad Jeffrey Laurie is putting his foot down. It's at that point now we cannot afford to fold. We cannot afford to waste any more time with this team, with the youth we have. We have to totally flip this roster. We have to get younger. We have to move forward. We have to change the way we play call. We have to change everything. This team just looked flat, entirely too flat this past season. It was embarrassing. It was painstaking. It was hard to watch. It was hard to talk about it every week. But the only thing that kept me going was you loyal subscribers, you loyal supporters to the content. And I'm so grateful, man. You know, I just want this team to find a way to get out of the hole. It's very possible. And again, we all know Carson Wentz has not addressed the media when it comes to his trade decisions or where he wants to go, or even if he wants to be traded at all. He hasn't addressed the media or that question not one time this season. He's allowed the media to speak for him. And I already spoke on the fact that I don't really like that. I don't like that he's hidden behind the curtain and hasn't really spoke his piece. But this actually may work in his favor, all things considered. Because if he did decide to jump out the window, that would all but surely secure his route out of the building. But since he didn't say anything, I think he's waiting to see what Jeffrey Laurie does with this team in general. I think he's waiting to see what Jeffrey Laurie does with the coaching staff in general. If he jumps out the window, he burns the bridge entirely. But by him remaining silent and bearing the brunt of the media, it allows him to remain patient and allow Jeffrey Laurie to repair what's been damaged. Because I believe if Carson Wentz was truly done with the city, he probably would have said something in that meeting. He probably would have said something. He wouldn't have had any problem coming out saying, you know what? I think it's time for a change of pace. But I think he's awaiting for Jeffrey Laurie to make a move. I think he knows that his presence in this organization is just as shaky as Doug Pederson's, or Doug Pederson's presence in this organization is just as shaky as his own. So if this was Carson's motive, if this was Carson's thinking, waiting it out to see what Jeffrey Laurie does with the coaching staff, then that's very brilliant. Because I still believe in Carson Wentz's talent. I'm not going to give up on him in that respect. I'm sorry, I'm just not. We all have our opinions. I still believe in Jalen Hurts' talent as well. But regardless, we have both these guys under contract for an extended period of time, and we really don't have to make a move when it comes to the roster and the quarterback position. But the coaching staff, a lot can change there. And I think Carson Wentz sees that, and he understands that his talent may carry more weight than Doug Pederson's play calling and or what he brings to the table. It only remains to be seen. Doug Pederson is on the hot seat, and he will only get off it if he has a legit plan to get this team moving in the right direction. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really have faith in his planning at this point. I'm grateful to him for the Super Bowl. I'm grateful to him for everything he's done with this organization and his roster in the past. But this past season was the last straw for me. There was just zero creativity. The offense was flat no matter who was out there. And I think it's time for just a change of pace from top to bottom, including moving on from Howie Roseman. So Jeffrey Laurie, I salute you for taking control of your organization. I salute you for holding those guys accountable. And I look forward to seeing what comes of this. Because Doug Pederson, you're not safe. And you better come correct. And it's straight like that. You guys, I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And y'all was tuned into y'all dose of Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Also, you guys, make sure y'all cop up or y'all Chalk It Up merch. Once again, I dropped the prices for you guys. I dropped everything. I made sure everything was way more affordable. And I'm going to add some different designs in there as well. Some things that's a little bit more simpler. Some things that are a little bit more versatile. That can go for different things that you want to do. But again, I'm grateful for you guys supporting the content. I'm grateful for you guys supporting me as always, locking in, commenting, subscribing. I love the community and the ecosystem we're building. And I'm grateful to you guys always. One love, fly Eagles fly.